Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Well, here we are today on a Monday morning version of the show. We are in Super Bowl week. A lot of activities going on. At least my TV set certainly brought in a lot over the weekend, and much more to pick up. Steelers arrive in Dallas today at 11:30 in the morning. The other team, the Packers, about 3:30 in the afternoon. From that point on, I think Tuesday's media day, and we will enjoy this week, and hopefully we will enjoy next Sunday, the Super Bowl. Today we're going to open them up to you once again. We've got a number of things I can discuss with you, and will do so. Of course, you can commandeer this thing and take it over on your own by just giving us a call. You can do it right now if you have a mind to. 412-825-6262 is the number to give us a call, and we'll get a knock on the door. We'll hear you, and we'll let you on in and find out what you have in mind. I've got a couple things I'll be bringing to you in the meantime, and when I hear that knock, I'll let you right on in the store. Now, looking at our schedule as it is starting to creep up upon us, today, folks, is the last official day of the month of January in the year 2011. We turn that page today and move to the month of February, where we are action-packed and ready for you once again. Now, on the 9th of February, we're going to be bringing with us Dr. We had an old Dr. Vavavoom. I think we got a new one. Her name is Dr. Susan Smith-Jones. She's been with you before. She's always on topic. She is so knowledgeable when it comes to natural health issues. And she's going to be talking about a pretty important natural health issue on the 9th when she discusses natural remedies to boost libido. She refers this to this show as her Valentine's Day gift to you. And you can make sense of that however you choose it. On the 16th, we're going to have Doug Inglesby with us. He's been with us before many times. Very influential family and trendsetter, pioneer family in the supplement industry. Doug talks about the Adele Davis. I guess evidently she was at his house quite a bit growing up. It seems at least that's the impression you get, that they're a pretty friendly bunch. Yul Gibbons, I think his name came up, and Linus Pauling, the like, and the names just go on and on. Anyway, Doug took over the family business, keeps coming back with us every so often to bring us a new message. This particular one is going to be talking about the flavor makers, and he really is talking about the pharmaceutical industry. I think you can make some sense of that. And let's see, as we get into the third week then, we'll have Alan Ridgway with us on the 21st. Now, Alan has been with us before. He represents a company, what's it called? Advanced Diabetic Solutions. And if you are diabetic, or if you know one, you'll want to dial us up on that day to bring to you what's new out there in the world for the diabetic. The newest kinds of glucometers, and the Lancets, and the testing strips, and the shoes that Alan makes. Of course, a lot of my patients already have these diabetic shoes. If you are diabetic, your insurance will cover the cost of these orthopedically custom-made shoes. They literally make them off of a mold that they do of your foot right here in the office. Anyway, Alan will be with us to talk about all of the diabetic products and issues on the 21st. On the 23rd, Kurt Domkowski is going to be aboard with us. Now, Kurt is going to be a first time for him. But in a related matter to diabetes, in the diabetic, because of poor circulation to the distal extremities, it is quite common to have wounds turn into be major and devastating problem for the diabetics because of the fact that they become easily infected, and once infected with that poor circulation, so difficult to actually cure and allow this person to move on with their lives without being having severe consequences for the infection. No. It is quite possible that the infection can spread to gangrene, and you know the ugly stories of the amputations that have to occur after that. A new dressing, a wound dressing. I say that you all should have, whether you're diabetic or not, you should have this kind of a dressing in your medicine cabinet at home, right next to the Band-Aids, because there now is a dressing called RTD. I do not know what the R, the T, and the D stands for, but RTD dressings, which literally draw out like a sponge and suck out the microbes that are causing the infection. It's a unique concept. We'll have Kurt Domkowski describe it to us on the 23rd of the month of February, which begins tomorrow. Now, I mentioned the other day, I'm going to mention again now, in fact, I'll be talking an awful lot about it. Technology is here now. And by the way, it's coming to Pittsburgh. It has been in other parts of the country. I thought it was very appropriate last week with the President giving his State of the Union address, talking about a Sputnik moment. Lo and behold, unbeknownst to me at the time, Sputnik had already arrived. Our moment is here, folks. A piece of technology is coming to Pittsburgh, and I believe you're going to want to be a part of. I'm really happy that I'll be a part of it, and by virtue of that, so too you get an opportunity to enjoy this technology too. You know, the aggressiveness and the invasiveness that's out there in the conventional medical community is something that is pretty chilling to us all. One would say, I would never want to have a catheterization, for instance. And look how commonplace they are. Along with that, angioplasties and stents. These are 50-cent words thrown around, and now worn as badge of honor to those who have had, let's say, bypass surgery. I think they sit around in a circle, and one guy says to the other, "Look, oh no, well I had 3 vessels bypassed," and one says, "Well, no, I actually had 4." And I don't know. I think the record that I can remember in my days of doing these surgeries was 5 bypasses. And these are very, very invasive surgeries. Anyway, this invasiveness has finally been alleviated with technology, which is finally going to be coming here. We're going to bring a gentleman on the radio on our show on the 11th of February. You're not going to want to miss it. His name is Jerry Singleton. Now, Jerry represents this unique company. It's one-of-a-kind company. The device that he has is called an MCG device. And literally in 7 minutes, without any piercing of the skin whatsoever, literally as easy as doing an EKG or a blood pressure reading, you should be able to get the same information about your internal environment, cardiovascular status, I'm speaking now, as you would had you had a catheterization with an angioplasty, or with an angiogram, excuse me. An angioplasty is actually ballooning open those arteries, but the angiogram is what's done during a cath. Now, these are extremely invasive, carry a lot of risk with them. Sure, when they're needed, they provide valuable information, but wouldn't it be a good thing to be able to get the information about the status of your internal environment, heart and blood vessel-wise, by a completely non-invasive procedure? Well, that's what I mean, folks, about technology finally coming here in the form of MCG. It has been in other parts of the country. It is just making it here to Pittsburgh. I will make a prediction that within 4 or 5 years, every doctor's office will have the availability of performing this kind of testing, this 7-minute test, completely insurance covered. That's unique. That's a little unique story into itself. I think I'll let Jerry tell it, because the company went there was no code. Doctors bill by virtue of a code, and they submit that code to the insurance company. Well, this is such technologically advanced. There's no code. There was no code for this particular procedure, and so they had to go and apply for a brand new code, unique only to itself and only to this device, which we're going to be talking about on the 11th, and which we're going to bring into the office on the 24th. Now, I open it up to you, the listener, if you would like to be a part of history, as well as being able to find out your complete cardiovascular status without any invasiveness whatsoever. No catheterizations or angiograms or anything like that. But you'd like to have all the information that could be obtained from such a study without having that study? Well, you want to hear more about MCG coming here on the 11th. We're going to bring them back on the 18th, and then we're going to culminate the month of February on the 24th. Right here in the office, I'm going to allow you, give us a call here at our office at 724-942-3002 to arrange to get a slot so that you could get this study done. We're going to probably have to run them, no sooner than every 15 minutes, maybe every half hour. We'll leisurely be able to get through the list of folks that we have scheduled for this. All of our ECP patients are going to be already tested. They're going to have their own special day. But on the 24th, we open it up to you, the listener, you, the public. If you want to have information about your status, you're wondering what that is, but you do not want to have any invasiveness to determine it, then you want to hear more about MCG, and you'll want to give us a call here at the office to get yourself slotted for that completely insurance covered. Why is it insurance covered? Because the company went and got the code. One of a kind. It's only used for this particular apparatus, and we'll be talking all about this on the 11th with Jerry Singleton. MCG is what it's called. Okay, let's take a short break. In the interim, you can dial us up and ask us any question or make any comment you'd like. Going to pick up a little bit of where we had left off with respect to the vaccine issue. Everything was pretty stirred up here this past Friday when we left you talking about vaccines. Got a couple points to make as I was thinking about it on my drive up to Seven Springs and back. And there are some holes that are still left to be mentioned. I'll plug those holes. You may want to plug a couple of holes yourself. Be back in a moment and give you a shot at doing just that.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 621 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Monday version of the show. It is the last full and official day of the month of January in the year 2011. And we've opened it up to you once again, allowing you to come on in here and set the agenda if you'd like. The number to do so is 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And I'll be listening for a knock at the door. On Friday, we were talking about vaccines a lot, and I got to thinking more about it. And it was pretty unsettling that I think one of the points we left off was with the frustration in that we see a conventional medical world that is, well, to me, it appears as though they're pulling every trick in the book to make certain that this issue of vaccines never gets beyond the murky. That it steeps things, because I think with the clarity that's possible out there, this vaccine story is not ever going to go the way, at least as it stands right now, of the conventional medical model. There's just too much bad road and too much tragedy in the wake of the status quo that the American public is not going to listen to that malarkey anymore. I was just thinking about the issues that really could clear this up and how I don't believe they're ever going to occur. The first issue that comes to my mind is as long as the conventional medical community is allowed to call things anecdotal that continue to happen over and over again, so much so that it defies logic to think that you could even use the word anecdotal, as long as they are allowed to do it, and they're going to keep on doing it, they're going to be able to keep this thing murky. They need it murky because I think, to be quite honest, if it ever gets cleared up, it's going to be to the detriment and downfall of the whole vaccine program, which wouldn't necessarily be a good thing. I'm not so sure it would be. Yet, because they're playing with a lit wick, in my opinion, and they know they got this stick of dynamite lit, and they just don't want it to go off and blow up in their face, they have to continue to use the power of the conventional medical world to suppress the clarity issue that I think is available. Here's what I mean about this thing called anecdotal. I sit down and listen to parents who come in to talk to me over and over again about their own children, and many times they're here because they have an autistic child in the family. And as we're sitting there and having this discussion, it's gotten to the point now where I say, well, look, there's one or two ways that this autism thing gets started, I guess, and the first of the ways would be that this baby just was not right from birth. I mean, the parent knows immediately that there's something wrong with this child, and then that gets, as the child ages, to become manifested in clearer signs and symptoms of a condition of autism or the autistic spectrum. Now, there's a second way, as I speak to the families and I'm talking to them about it, and I say, now look, how about this one? How about you thought your child was completely normal and acted completely normal and began to develop the skills of maturation normally, and developed a speech and started to walk, and there are milestones, and then one day things changed. And maybe it wasn't a day, maybe it was a week, maybe it was a month. It was a period of time that you all remember to say, oh boy, something's completely wrong here now. And then I say, was that time around 18 months? And that's when the parents look at each other and they go, yeah, it was exactly around 18 months. And I say, was that around the time when you had the MMR vaccine? And they go, as a matter of fact, it was. And this story, by the way, there are those parents that go, hey, we don't have to be vague about this. It was exactly 18 months. It was the same day my child had that vaccine, because from that moment on, my child has never been right. And the point I'll make, and I'm going to get to the caller in just a minute, is that for some reason, this conventional medical community has been enabled to call that story, which happens over and over and over again, with such clarity. I can't tell you how often this becomes the history that's imparted to me by the parents. And for this medical community to continue to be permitted to get away with calling that anecdotal is a crime. And I believe one day there's going to be a day of reckoning for that crime. Hey, come on in the store. You're with us right now. What's on your mind? Hello.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Sure.
I have a few things I'd like to make comments on.
Go right ahead.
One is on the man you had on a week or so ago on algae.
Oh, yes.
And I thought he said it was genetically modified algae. I wasn't sure, but I just wanted to clear that up.
No, I don't think, well, I don't remember genetically modified being used. There were 4 species of algae, that these 4 species possess qualities that the other species, which on my knowledge tells me were thousands. There's thousands of species of algae, but 4 appeared, at least in the mind of the doctor who wrote a book about the real doctor who invented all these things. And I'm getting to the names right now. What was the name? Oh, Roland Thomas was a fellow who was here. He was here on the 17th. And Roland was talking about a gentleman, a Russian scientist, who isolated these 4 forms of algae, which I don't believe are genetically modified. I don't remember that component at all. And if you do, I'll apologize for me being in error, but I don't think I am.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Now I know your listeners are well informed, but I have a place that sells grass-fed beef, and it's up close to where your in-laws live.
Up in the,
Stallstown area.
Ligonier area, Stallstown. Right on my way. Right on my way. You say you got a place that sells grain, or not grain-fed, grass-fed.
Oh, grass-fed beef. And the contact name is Rich Wilson, and his number is 724-593-7653.
593-7653?
7653, correct.
And his name is Rich Wilson, and so he people who are talking, listen to us right now, they could call Rich and they could order.
That person, he's the manager of the farm.
Perfect. Perfect.
And one more comment.
Yes.
Since your listeners are so informed,
They are.
and I believe that anyone who eats food should read this book called Seeds of Perception by
Thieves.
Jeffrey Smith. It's
Thieves.
all about genetically modified food,
Oh, okay.
and it'll make your feet sweat when you read it.
Thieves of what?
Perception.
Thieves of Perception.
Yeah.
And the author, what? And the author is who?
Jeffrey Smith.
Jeffrey Smith.
And you can go online at seedsofperception.com and read some of it. He even has an interview on there on it.
Well, you know what? I usually try whenever a listener calls up. I usually try to, and sometimes do a bunch of layers to get them to come on the show. So maybe I'll be helpful. Maybe it will be helpful to. I'm not familiar with the book. I'll try to look up Jeffrey Smith.
I made a little mistake on it. It's not perception. It's deception.
Oh, Thieves of Deception.
Yeah, it's on engineered food.
Okay.
Jeffrey M. Smith.
Okay. I wonder if the word Monsanto appears anywhere in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It'll make your feet sweat. And it's very scary. Any of your readers should read it. And you can hear a lot of it on the internet.
Okay, I can see why you were so sensitive to the issue of anything that algae that you thought might have been genetically modified. By the way, I thought the reason that the algae that they were talking about was so unique is that it was only found plentiful enough in one place in the world, which is someplace in Siberia. Do you remember hearing that part of the story? That yeah.
Can't remember it all.
Yeah, but so it wasn't coming from a lab. It was coming from an area of the world that's pretty isolated, but it seems to have a special kind of algae that had all sorts of health benefits. So I promised to bring Roland back at the time he was last with us. I will come through and bring him back so we can have a discussion about that algae. I thought it was a fascinating discussion anyway. But the issue of genetically modified, unfortunately, I think this is burgeoning and being just the commercialism of food and supplying food and the yield and how they can grow it and get a better yield. These forces are going to win out over health, and because they've already won out over health, and the consumer better be educated to keep this genetically modified away from their dinner tables, because I agree with you.
Absolutely. And there's a movie out called Food Inc. I don't know if your listeners have ever seen it. It's a very interesting movie on our food supply in this country.
All right.
It'll also make you quit eating bought meat.
All right. Thank you, Rich. We got the Rich Wilson connection. Fees of deception. I'll try to work on that to see if we can get him on the show. And thank you so much for your call. And I'll work on Roland Smith and try to bring him back too.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. As you can see, the listeners are on it, folks. They are on it. Now, back to the vaccine issue. So I say, when it comes to the conventional medical community, able to sweep under the rug what appears to me to be the story that happens over and over again in my office, and I'm not saying that there isn't a form of autism that occurs from birth immediately, because I on occasion have had that history, but this differs sharply with the history given to me by the head of the autism division at UPMC. And I'm going to have to apologize. I do not recall the woman's name, the doctor, the medical doctor who's in charge of that program, but I had her on the show. I actually had her on the show a couple of times. It's been a number of years now. And I listened with great delight for this intelligent physician telling me that the autistic child has a disconnect, and that their nerves are not connected. And I swear that I have this exactly right as she told it to me during the radio show, because I'll never forget it, because it didn't match up to what I saw and what I had imparted to me by the many hundreds of parents that I've had now over the course of the years telling me about the history of their child and how autism at least was identified by them. So the doctor was telling me about her studies at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and how she was working with these children's brains that really didn't have nervous connection from birth. And that, she says, was what autism was. And that just never matched up to what I was seeing and I was hearing about by the parents who came in to talk to me about, well, how to deal with their autistic child now, that the initiation of this, in their opinion, was that they had a completely normal child, that everything seemed to be connected to them, that there was no disconnect, that there was all the nerves were working just fine, and then one day or 1 month of time, usually around 18 months, on that story coming up over and over again and having a connection with, in many cases, the actual moment of receiving the vaccine cannot be allowed by the conventional medical community to be called anecdotal anymore. They continue to do it. How they get away with it is beyond me, because this is why a parent can scoff at the conventional medical community trying to deal with a controversy, a hot potato like this, because they're not being dealt with in an appropriate way. They're being given sleight of hand, and the American public is just not going to take it anymore. So that's the first thing I say. Nothing's going to, as long as they can keep getting away with calling the initiation around 18 months right after MMR vaccine as being anecdotal, meaning you can't make any hide nor hair of it. It's just anecdotal. It happens to be something somebody mentioned during history, but this one keeps coming up over and over again. So it's got to be able to break through the bonds of being called anecdotal. Also mentioned that the study that could change it all is a study that will never happen. And that study is one that could easily be done now, because we got many years into this problem, up to 20 to 30% of the article that I read and brought to you on Friday, 20 to 30% of one of the counties in California were an unvaccinated population. That's a pretty large body of kids that aren't vaccinated. And so if it's 20 or 30% in that area of the country, I don't know how many percent it is here. It's certainly not 20 or 30%, but the number keeps growing, and it's easy enough to be able to get to the schools to identify which kids are unvaccinated and which kids aren't, and then you could find out, based on whether they were vaccinated or not, what the incidence of autism is. I say that would be the study of all studies, and would be the study that would clear this up really quick. And I say it would be so easy to do it, and so revealing in the response, that it's a study that you're never going to hear about, because it's a study that's never going to happen. Why it has never come up, why I don't hear this issue being raised, is pretty clear to me, because to raise it sheds light on it, and to shed light on this would be opening up a door that they, meaning the conventional medical community, would never want you to walk through. And then finally, I think, as we have seen with Dr. Andrew Wakefield, look, I don't know, this issue that has surfaced recently, I can't say I know for sure whether or not any fraud was committed, but with respect to Andrew Wakefield, because he's the one that did the study, folks, that really rocked back, caused the conventional medical community to reel back in his 1997 study of doing colonoscopies on autistic children to find out that when a lesion found in the gut of these kids, there was a study of 12 kids, and he found that they had a lesion. They were already diagnosed, by the way, as being autistic. He does a colonoscopy, and he finds a lesion, a visualizable lesion in the colon of these children. He takes a swab. They culture the swab. And what do they grow? They grow, according to him, they grow the virus of measles virus, not of the measles variety, but the measles virus found in the vaccine, the same one found in the vaccine that was given to the children. So that really showed up in the British Journal and was heralded as being a monumental study. But ever since then, this man has been attacked. They took his medical license away. He has been persecuted. And the most recent machination of that persecution is literally a few weeks ago. And I think you got to remember this, because this made it on all the media. It will do so. It was on 60 Minutes. It was on Fox News. It was on CNN. Made a big splash about how this was a fraud. This gentleman, Major Wakefield, has been proven a fraud. In fact, if he really has, I don't know for sure. But nonetheless, I can tell you this, that back in 1997, 1998, when he sends that study off and they grow that virus, he has nothing to do with that. That's an independent group who does the study. At least my best understanding is that's the case. And the fact that that piece of information has never been refuted, I think, is what allows me to think that this man is being persecuted inappropriately, and we'll let it go at that. That's the vaccine story as I see it. The study that will get this thing turned around will never come, and the story told by parents that is allowed to be called anecdotal will continue to be so, and nothing's going to change. You are the only one that will make certain that your child either becomes vaccinated or not, based on your knowledge of this, and we'll keep on bringing you the information and allow you to make those decisions as you are doing pretty well right now. Okay, let's take a short break. You can give us a knock on the door if you want to comment on the vaccine issue. That's fine. Any other issue? How about the new piece of technology coming to Pittsburgh? MCG it's called. And don't forget, you can give us a call at the office and arrange an appointment to have the study done. Be back in a moment with more. See you then.
Been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHP 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Monday version of the show. We are in Super Bowl week here in Pittsburgh. Steelers arrive in Dallas today about 11:30. You'll be seeing it later on tonight when you get home, back from work and so forth. But it'll be a fun week around here in Pittsburgh building up to the Super Bowl next Sunday. We're here allowing you to come on in the store and set the agenda. Whatever is on your mind is okay with me. 412-825-6262 is the number to do it. We have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Enjoy listening to you, Dr. Courtney.
Hey, enjoy doing the show so you can listen to it. What's on your mind today?
Listen, Doc, can you give me that fellow's number for the meet? I got 724-593. What's the last?
724. His name is Rich Wilson. I hope you got that part of it.
Right.
And I don't mind plugging this for Rich. 724-593-7653 is that number.
That's very good. And you know what? You wouldn't have to have that number that for Roland Thomas. You call the 800. I think it was an 800 number.
Tell you what, I only have written down here the number to call Roland if he had given me an 800 number, and he did too. And I promise by the next time we listen to the show on Wednesday, I have the literature I can go back in, and I'll be able to come up with the website and the 800 number. I promise to have it for you on Wednesday, okay?
Oh, that's very good. And one other thought, then I'll hang up. Maybe you could talk a little bit about it. What's the best form of vitamin C to take?
Oh, you're on my subject now. You have asked the question. I'm real particular about the vitamin C issue.
I'll hang up, Doc.
Okay. All right. Quickly out there for those vitamin C new to this topic. You got to have two components in mind when selecting vitamin C. You better be a label reader. I'm going to say that from the beginning. 99.9% of all vitamin C made from corn. Corn is 100% genetically modified. You cannot get in this country any non-genetically modified corn. And as you can tell by our first caller, the issue of genetically modified anything is a no-no. I think you want to stay clear of it. Now, so unique it is to me to hear many of the commentators and people that have shows on this particular station who, when the issue of genetically modified comes up, they are first to claim how terrible and what a health insult it really is to consume anything that's genetically modified. And they're pretty doggone vocal about it. Yet, when it comes to the selling of products that I hear them sell, these same individuals don't seem to even mention the fact that you better be careful about the form of vitamin C that you get, because 99.9% of it, folks, I got to tell you, is made from the very genetically modified product that they say is so terrible that you consume, and yet when it comes to the supplements you may take, appears maybe not to be a factor at all in their own minds. But we'll let that go about their, what their motivations are behind it. I say, though, you have to get non-GM, non-corn derived vitamin C is a must for you. You'll have to read labels. There are very few companies that make it, but I can tell you this, those that make it proudly display it on their label. It's not something that you really have to search for. If you don't see any mention on the label, and you just see that it's vitamin C that's contained within it, then I'm telling you, you're dealing with a product that has genetically modified vitamin C, because those that already know this and have manufactured a product that comes from a non-corn derived source proudly display it. The other component, which you'll have to decide as to whether you want the fat-soluble forms or the standard water-soluble forms, just make it more assimilable. And so I hope I've answered your question. Be a label reader. By the way, we carry a product made by Bioimmune, which is absolutely non-corn derived, as well as fat-soluble. It's called Ultra Absorbic C. Give us a call at the office to order it up. Knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello. Welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
This is Frank. I was wondering if you could help me out a little bit here. My dad's on a puree diet, and I'd like to be able to get him something. He hasn't been able to eat for a couple months here. He's been kind of losing weight, and he's in kind of a bad way, and I wondered what can you suggest for me to help me out with him?
Nutrition. Well, he just doesn't have the appetite on his own. Is that just that he can't?
Yes. He still eats, but it's you gotta. He's in a care center right now, and he'll eat. I'm just not good at that, but I just wondering how I can help him out.
Okay, here's some just general rules to go with. The issue of receiving these nutrients, obviously, in the foods, if you can work toward a organic diet, which is really tough if he's in a care center. I don't know how you do this. Okay, so let's just say, but even if you could, the depletion of the vitamins and minerals and so forth in the foods is so low that it is almost impossible to make up those vitamins and minerals in the foods alone. So I believe it's through supplementation that you're going to be able to achieve where you want to get, because except for calories alone, now if your dad he lost a lot of weight. Yeah. Okay, so you do want calories to be on board, and I understand that, okay? And so what I would tell you is you still got to select foods of the fats, proteins, and carbohydrates are the only three foods that exist. The fats and proteins, you have to make sure you get high protein sources, and your dad needs as many of the fats, especially the omega-3s, that he can get, because those are nutrients he can't make up any other way. In the carbohydrate department, it needs to be nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables. So, as a just general description of the kind of foods he needs to consume, that's where you need to be picking from, and heavy up on the fruits and vegetables, as well as a protein and fat source. That being said, you're going to have to supplement, because not only is your father not getting the calories, and so he's losing weight, and that's a medical issue large enough. By the way, I'm going to talk about the use of a feeding J tube in just a moment too, because I've been in a situation personally, and as a medical doctor, I can tell you there are plenty of people in a situation where they do not have the ability to consume the foods on their own, and they have to be fed in a way that allows them to get to nutrition, but without having to provide the appetite so they can get nutrition. And so whether that's administered nasogastrically, which in a care facility is quite common, or whether or not a feeding gastrojejunostomy is applied, these are the ways that you get people to get the nutrition when they don't have the ability to eat themselves. Have these two issues ever been raised to you or your family before?
He was in the feeding tube for a while there. Now he's just eating spoon-fed.
Okay, but is he? Let's see. Having had a feeding J myself in the year 2009, because I could not eat. Okay, that feeding J was left in place for a long time until my ability to provide the calories on my own was there to justify that it be removed. In the case of your dad, it appeared, you say he had a feeding tube. Was it in an NG fashion, or was it made where an incision was made actually in the belly, and it was a tube that was inserted into the stomach from there?
I believe it was through his nasal.
Okay, it was nasogastric. That's okay. That's fine. That's one of the ways that you're able to administer. Certainly not an invasive way, but you're able to administer high caloric, high nutritive amounts of food in a way that sort of obfuscates your father's appetite, providing the way to do it. He's just not doing it on his own. So has that been resumed, or is the tube still in place and just not used, or what?
The tube is out. He's in another place. That was while he was in the hospital.
Okay.
Now he's in a care center.
And that is, by the way, in a care center, something that's easily still permitted to be in place, so that the people in the care center could allow him to get the calories that he just can't get on his own. So I would say that that you're in a predicament that has a resolution, that the calories that he's not able to provide himself can be administered in a pretty good way till his appetite returns. And in that case, the nasogastric feedings are acceptable, and if necessary, a feeding J, called a feeding gastrojejunoscopy, also is easily enough done. It's a 5-minute procedure, is all it takes. Anyway, it just seems as though with where you are, I'm getting a picture that's not too thin. I'm not coming across very, very healthy right now for your dad. How much does he weigh now?
I am not sure. 130.
130? What did he weigh before? 180 maybe?
Well, at one time, I think 160.
All right. The issue of nutrition is something that his doctors absolutely have to meet and have to be concerned with, and they certainly do know these options. Maybe you need to have some time where you can discuss once again just the pure fact that he's not able to maintain the nutrition that he needs on his own, and there are medical means by which that nutrition factor can be compensated for. It's never as good as a person's own appetite, but it looks like you're up against a condition right now where he has none, or he doesn't have a sufficient enough appetite to consume the nutrients on his own, and therefore you just don't say, well, we'll let it go and let him just fumble here. No, his doctors need to step in and make certain that he gets the nutrition that he needs. He does have a doctor who's responsible for his care at the facility, does he not?
Yes.
Okay, you need to have a discussion with that doctor on the issue of nutrition, and he will be very much aware of the options available to him and be very well inclined to assist the family in getting this problem resolved, because it looks as though your dad is not able to handle this job on his own. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
Best of luck on this matter. I'm actually going through the same situation with another family member of mine right now, and I can tell you how I'm handling it, and I've just given you the same advice that I'm following myself, and good luck to you on following. Bring that up with your doctor and have a discussion at one-on-one, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
For your care.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, folks. I mean, one way or the other, the job has to be done in a medical environment that this patient happens to be in. It can be done. It can be handled, and it should be handled. All right, we got another knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Relative this to Roland Thomas's company,
The algae.
referred to as BioAge. The gentleman needs a phone number. I can give it to you.
Why don't we do that? And you can say, sure, I'm sure he's listening. Go right ahead.
It's 877-288-9116. And the previous gentleman that just called you about the nutrition in his father, I would make him aware of I ordered the booklet, Awakening the Genius Within, have reviewed it. I'm still studying parts of it. It's very readable, very straightforward, and extremely provocative. And that this gentleman that was concerned about like concentrated nutrition, I would say, if he can't eat a lot, this would be the ticket to explore. It's they call it BAC, which is that bioalgae concentrate, which is made up of those 4 species that you were talking about. I think there's 2 spirulinas, and there's one that is loaded with astaxanthine. It's Hemetococcus, I think, is the Latin word they referred to it. But and I had mentioned to you that I read somewhere about microalgae has function very similar to stem cells, and it can remodel bone marrow. And there's references in Awakening the Genius Within about reversing leukemia and also bone marrow diseases. And all sorts of things. It's just unbelievable if half of what he has in this book is anywhere near true. This is revolutionary.
Well, we're going to bring him back. I thought that it was a fascinating topic. It certainly titillated you enough. You went and got the book. Awakening the Genius Within is written by the Roland himself about the doctor, the Russian doctor's name again?
It's co-authored with this Michael Kiriak, who is the Russian that you're referring to.
Yeah, Dr. Kiriak.
Yeah, he pioneered these bioreactors that actually can, this is not genetically modified, by the way. These are naturally occurring algae species that he simply brought into he calls it a bioreactor, controlled temperature, and he gets the nutrients are primarily supplied by a water that's taken out of a volcanic geyser source. And so it's
in Siberia, right? Am I right about that?
He has over 92 trace minerals in it. And this refers, I know you've been doing a lot of
trace mineral stuff
about trace minerals, and I do believe this could be a substitute, or at least in conjunction with taking ionic trace minerals. But this is completely through a biological mediation.
Well, the number, I tell you what, I'll pick up on this number too. I'm gonna once again just to check 877-288. Is it 9186? Was that it?
9116.
9116.
The website is also www.bioage, one word, BIOAGE.com.
All right.
And that's now I have not gone to the website yet. I'm just still studying the book, but. All the studies were done in the basic science behind this is is veterinary medicine in Russia, and it's such amazing results because animals they don't have that placebo effect thing, and the way animals responded to this concentrate, which he calls BAC, BAC, it's an algae paste, and the way animals react to it is just awesome. So it works so well that again, it's another story that the employees, seeing what happened to the animals, started filching the product and using it on themselves, and it's just beyond belief to read this stuff, especially since Chernobyl, the radioactive accident of Chernobyl, enters into this whole discussion because it went on concurrently with the studies with the animals, and it has a very powerful way of getting rid of radionucleotides out of the body and reversing the damage that's occurred to the DNA. I mean, when you read this stuff, it's just like from another planet.
Sounds like a fascinating read. I got to get a hold of the book. Normally I get a copy of these things whenever I'm bringing a guest on. I did not get one. Seems like you really enjoyed the book. I expect you to always enjoy something like that.
Well, when you get them on, you also get them to elaborate a little bit. Rather than getting buried in a lot of physiological mumbo-jumbo, he refers to the genius within, which is a conglomeration of cells, mostly in the brain area, made up of the thalamus, the hypothalamus, pineal gland, and pituitary, which are the governing tissue of the brain for the rest of the body. And he refers to how this has a very positive effect on the function of this genius tissue, which is made up of a number of billions of cells, and overrides everything that's going, or sort of orchestrates everything that's going on in the body. It's just amazing.
We're bringing it back. I'll get a hold of him. I promise you. Thank you so much. I hope the gentleman who was asking about his father has listened to this concluding statement. Have that discussion with your doctor. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Bongos in the background are saying it's time to get on out of here. Look forward to being with you on Wednesday. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724